1. What is worship? 5a. Worship puts things in their place, even answers to prayer. In worship, we get God's perspective. Our lives should be God-centered, not man-centered, problem-centered, need-centered, or comfort-centered. David cried out, "O God, you are my God, earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you, my body longs for you, in a dry and weary land where there is no water. I have seen you in the sanctuary and beheld your power and your glory." Psalm 63 1-2. B. Worship must not be institutionalized or ritualized. Colossians 2:16-17 takes the emphasis off times and forms. Worship is inner spiritual reality. It cannot be processed, standardized, prepackaged, sanitized, or printed in a worship folder. When we engage in the outward forms of worship with our heart far from God, the Bible calls this vain. Isaiah 1:11-15, Call 2:23. It is lip service without full devotion, empty confession without a committed heart. Matthew 15:9, Isaiah 29:13, Amos 5:21-24. God specifically told his people not to worship him in the vanity of the heathen. Deuteronomy 12:4-31, 2 Kings 17:32-33, 41. C. Worship is an action verb. Some experiences of the heart in worship may not be expressed outwardly, but the Hebrew words for worship are active. The biblical body language of worship includes standing, bowing, falling down before God, lifting hands, shouting, clapping hands, singing, processions, festive throngs, new songs, kneeling, dancing, trumpets, tambourines, and other musical instruments. Other worship words are glorify, exalt, magnify, and bless. The biblical worship vocabulary indicates that we don't worship passively and unintentionally. Isaiah and the Apostle John fell down before God in worship. D. Worship prepares the way of the Lord. Worship in the tabernacle and the temple pictured the coming of the Savior. The psalmist said, "He who sacrifices thank offerings honors me, and he prepares the way so that I may show him the salvation of God." Psalm 50:23. Our worship looks forward to his summing up all things to himself in all eternity. Worship is an instrument of victory in spiritual warfare. Worship has spiritual power to win victories. In Joshua 5:14-15 and 6-2, Joshua bowed to worship the captain of the Lord's hosts, and God supernaturally brought down Jericho after Joshua's worship. In Judges 7:15, Gideon bowed in worship, returned to his camp, and commanded, "Arise, for the Lord has given the enemy into our hands." The Israelites again used worship as God's appointed weapon for winning a threefold victory in 2 Chronicles 20:22. They had not even reached the battlefront when God acted to completely destroy 3 enemy armies. Worship has implications for evangelism. Jesus told the woman at the well that the reason he was talking to her about her life on earth and her eternal destiny was that his Father was seeking true worshipers. Then Jesus said, "Look at the fields. They are ripe for the harvest of more worshipers." The point of evangelism is not getting people saved or keeping them out of hell, it is getting worshipers. Jesus might say the same thing to us. Look around at the ripe fields of those who do not know what it means to worship the living God. If staying out of hell is our main motivation for salvation, we will operate only in our own self-interest. What is the primary motivation for our relationship with Jesus? If it is anything other than to worship, we have only a business bargain with him. God intends for us to come alive to him in worship.